Okay, hon, thank you. And we are live. So, welcome to Common Chat with myself, Solana, and my son, Brian Fox.
Good
Welcome.
morning. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I always cut you off when you do that.
You do. I just want to say good morning and welcome, Brian. And then he always just like jumps in there. He's ready to go. So, anyway, you can go ahead and continue your welcome and hello. Um, so, uh, but yeah, wow, this is already January 3rd. We just wanted to snap and okay, like the last 3 days just went by, and that's why we decided to talk about to resolve or not resolve, because again, time's just going to fly, and before you know it, we're going to be celebrating 2017. So, Brian, why don't you go ahead and start with your resolve or not to resolve, and then I'll be your rebuttal.
Well, it's simple. Every single year, time after I'm 30 years old, so 30 repetitive years. Let's set our resolutions. What are going to be your New Year's resolution? What's going to be my New Year's resolution? And every year I've set them. Every year I have failed to complete them. And I know that most of us do. Now, I know a couple of us, including myself, I'm a big guy. New Year's resolution, this doesn't take a rocket scientist. I want to lose weight. So I'm going to hit the gym up, and I've done this before, like last year. New Year's resolution, I need to lose 100 pounds. And right away, hit the gym up. 2 weeks into it, man, I'm eating lasagna, chicken and dumpling soup, freaking going crazy. I'm eating all this good stuff and food, and my resolution went right out the door. And everybody's asking, like, hey, I thought you were going to go to the gym. What happened? That's too much. So,
Mhm.
I think that the New Year's resolution has always started with, of course, being goal-oriented and setting up certain goals that you want to achieve in the new coming year. And, there's great things with that. But, I've been in corporate America for a while, unfortunately. And I've learned a couple things with that. And that is simple. Simply, you don't want to set yourself up for failure, for one. And I think that that's what most of us do in the long run. So if you're going to set up a New Year's resolution for losing weight, just as an example, set up a goal of losing 10 pounds. Set up a goal of losing 20 pounds. Something small, something achievable. So this way, when you actually achieve that goal, you feel motivated and inspired by yourself to continue moving forward and overachieve your goal. Also, that's just the whole point, anyways. Is just quit setting up goals. If anything, that you can't achieve or that you are going to know you'll lose interest in after a little while. We all just do that too much. So, set yourself up with goals that are achievable if you decide that you're going to do a New Year's resolution, or simply do what I do. My New Year's resolution is that I don't have a freaking New Year's resolution. So that's what it's come down to. I don't have a list. My wife is the same way. We're both in the same boat. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure. So if anything, at the beginning of New Year's Eve, we both gave each other a good kiss right when the ball dropped in New York for the second time, technically, since we're Central Time Zone. Um, but we gave each other a kiss and said, let's try to be happy this year. Let's just work on happiness. Let's work on what makes us happy as individuals, as a couple. Let's move forward. Let's be successful in that sense. And when you do that, it becomes subjective. It becomes variable. So that's where we're at. We're going to move into 2016 with an ease, with low standard expectations,
Mm.
other than the fact that we just want to be happy. And there's different things to achieve that.
Well, that's just it. That for me, making a resolution just means that you're just picking on your what you think are your issues. And why do they, even like stack up the way they do? Who put that expectation on you in the first place? I look at everything as a combination, I can't even say the word right now. A combination, just bringing it together. Let's look at the bigger picture of why we even want to start doing resolutions in the first place. First of all, tradition. How many people just do things because it's tradition? And even though we know tradition can get us in trouble, um, it's like we don't have to keep up with something just because it was done or it's been done, and that's mindset. That's your mindset. And especially why we pick one day just because it's a new year. There's a new day, a new moment going on all the time. And so it's like when I love the joke because it's, I'm going to set up a bar for myself, and I'm going to call it resolution. And for the first 2 weeks, we're going to be a gym. And then the rest of the year, we're going to be a bar. Because that's about how long your resolutions last anyway, because you have such high expectations on what it's going to do and what it's going to bring. As I tell all my students when we're doing, the psychic abilities or the aura, learning how to see and read auras, is no expectations. Don't come in here thinking, oh, I'm going to be this grandiose thing, because that's putting expectations.
You know what's funny about that is and I'll go back to the weight loss, for New Year's resolution because, it's hard not to have an expectation. It's much easier said than done because, for me, going to the gym and working out used to be an easy thing. When I was in my early 20s, I know that I could do, an easy 50 chin-ups or pull-ups, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you're from. I could do 150 sit-ups, like that. But in that first 2 weeks, 9 years later, 2 sit-ups and I can't breathe. Dismotivated really quick.
Well, exactly. Again, and we if you think about it though, from being a baby, and going into just the expectations to learn how to talk and walk, and then the expectations to learn how to spell your name, the expectation then that gets put on you from all kinds of aspects in your world, from your parents, from your relatives, from your friends. The expectations just keep mounting, because that's the world we're in. That's the energy that's being played on us. And I say being played on us because it's not what we want. Think about it. The things that are happening in the world, are they reflective of what you want? No. That's somebody else's agenda, somebody else's reality, somebody else's expectation of events is what's happening around us. And we've got to learn how to cope with that, so that we can still stay, true to our higher self, our higher source. Call it what you want. You got to stay true in that true authentic self, to what you're here for, who you are. We're not taught those things, and so we've got all these expectations mounted on us, and it happens every year. Here we go, every day. Whether it's to a girl, to grow up and be the little princess, and get the man and have the children, and and not a lot of expectations or things are pushed on the women in this society to further herself. And then you got the same thing for the men. They have this expectation that they're to grow up and have that career, have that family, have those that wife and those kids and the 2.2 dogs, and it's just all these expectations get thrown on us all the time, all the time. And so we live in that mentality and that perception of expectations. And we
Right.
put that on ourselves, we put that on our relationships, we put that on our jobs. Hell, we even put it on our pets. Like they could read our mind of what they want, what we want.
Some can.
Okay, some can. I know. But yeah, Carol's saying in here, one step at a time. Yeah, that's what we need to get to. Basics. We were talking about it before we went on air, and is that getting back to the basics of really who we are and what it's going to do and how we're going to, implement that in our world and still be able to stay sane. Because it's like we got all these different things. People want to say that it's all about them and their actions, their words, their stuff. But, I'm sorry, you're not the only one on this planet. So how can your neighbors, your family, your things around you, the energy around you not affect you? So, we have all these things coming at them, bombarding. Who can breathe?
I don't know. Can
You
you
know?
read? You okay?
Oh, I had to take a deep breath, because it's too much. It's too much. It's too
It
much.
is. It is.
And,
Yeah.
and it,
It's hard. I think Carol mentioned something before we got started that it's a very real thing for me. It's something that I struggle with daily, which is to remain in the moment. I get so stuck in living 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and I live in the future consistently. And I read a post one time and it sit with me perfectly because it's true. When you live in the future, you're full of anxiety. When you live in the past, you're full of depression. And when you live in the moment, that's when you can find happiness. That's when you can find balance, living in the moment. it's good to try and make plans, but when you do that, you're setting yourself up for either failure, disappointment, expectations that may not meet your standard, and it's unfortunate. Like even now, I mean, even as you're talking, I find myself drifting off in thought of, oh my gosh, 2016 is bringing in a week of craziness at work. And I get lost in the moment, and I start thinking about these new goals that I have, and I have to finish out 2015 and set up this review, and I have to explain why I didn't meet certain goals and why I was able to overachieve other ones, and and I get lost in that, and it causes me great anxiety, but for what? I mean, if I could live in 9:11 a.m. right now, which it's always 9:11 when I look at the clock, but anyways.
It's 10:11
Um,
here, but okay.
if I could just look at if I could just look at the time that I'm in at the moment and acknowledge this existence at this time, then I can find my balance and find okay, I can sit back, relax, and know that I'm sitting here right now talking to you, enjoying the moment as it is right here. I'm not living 6 weeks from now. I'm not living into tomorrow already. And and I can't, it's a constant reminder for me. Like by 3 p.m. today, I'll be watching the football game, and I'll be thinking about tomorrow, and how much I'm dreading it, and how much I don't want to go to work right away. How much I want to keep on enjoying my time off, and how quick my time ended for the weekend. But I'm wasting my time in the moment thinking about tomorrow, and I do that repetitively, and it's something that I try to acknowledge and stop doing.
Right, right. And again, because we're not taught how the appreciation of that time should really just flow, and how we should allow. Because it's like this: if we try to control everything around us, it, hand to God, you find
Yeah,
out real quick that you ain't got no control over nothing,
I need to
except for how
I
you
need to
respond.
respond. I need to respond to Carol's
Oh, yeah.
question. She says, "And Brian, how is that working for you?" I try to tell people, if God said if you have 1 week left, what exactly are you going to be worrying about? Being buried 6 feet under? That'll be on my mind the whole week. And that's just me being real. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like I know exactly 7 days from now I'm not gonna be here, and I'd be so worried about that transition in that moment that I would not be able to live my last week enjoying life, enjoying the breath that I'm taking, enjoying my surroundings. I know that about myself because I am always living so much in the future. And that's one of the things that I am working on. So if there is going to be a New Year's resolution, going back to our original subject, it is to stop having a resolution, stop setting standards and expectations for myself, and live in the moment and in the minute. And that's the most important thing that I think I need to strive for, not just for myself, but for my spouse, but for my family, for everything around me, because I live so far in the future that it negatively impacts everything that I'm involved with, including the things that I'm looking at in the future. I'm distorting,
And
I'm
you're
distorting
so
the
typical.
possibilities.
Yeah, and that's typical. Even though you were raised with a mother who was aware and tried to show you and tried to tell you and tried to, guide you that way. And it's like I tell everybody, though, it's like, we all have to come to it in our own time. Because I have raised, all of you in that mindset of to allow, to trust God, live in the faith that you're going to be okay no matter what. And you still get out in the world and you get into the reality and the intentions and agendas of everything around you. Like you said, you are in corporate America. And everyone in corporate America lives every day in their in the thought, am I going to have a job today? Am I going to walk in there and get fired? I mean, it's all there's just it builds up all this anxiety. And there are so many people on medication today. You yourself, you're 30, and you're already on blood pressure medication, and because of your high stress, high expectation corporate world. And that's what really just it just tears my heart. Because it doesn't matter, because that you have to do something to provide. And we're in that mindset. You're just a reflection of what everybody on this planet is going through at this time.
Yeah,
And
and to your
even those of
point,
us trying to waken up, even those
right?
that we are struggling because there is such opposition around us
Yeah,
that we're not taken
but
into account.
that's exactly that's exactly what's frustrating for me is I know better. I know better. I was raised to know better. It's in my daily thoughts. Coinciding with my anxiety and looking in the future and forgetting to live in the moment. I have those moments of, oh, wait a minute, hold on, take a second. Why are you worried about that? Sit down, relax, understand that you are in a moment that does not exist. Go back to reality. Like quit living in the future.
Hmm.
Quit living a week from now. Quit worrying about what's going to happen because we already know that we all have our psychic abilities. We have our ability to see what's coming. We all have our ability to feel the future. Not all, but most of us that have these senses get lost in that too.
Well,
When I was listening to you and Carol speaking about what might be ready to come, the thing about the future and being able to look forward is that too is subjective. Depending on certain consciousness and different decisions that are
yes.
being made in the moment can alter what you see coming. And that's one of the things that a lot of people forget is, hey, hold on. Even me being in the acknowledgement and in the knowing of everything that I already am connected to and aware of, still get lost in my office when I'm looking forward, when I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. It's a consistent battlefront, and it's just like being a spiritual warrior that I am. You would think that, hey, Bryan, hey, in fact, I was told this by Christina, and it's something that made me look at myself modestly because I'm like, wait, hold on a second. There's the distorted view of the stereotype Bryan's a spiritual warrior. So Bryan is immune, or Bryan can handle, Bryan can get rid of whatever comes his way. Yeah, true. I can handle things that I'm acknowledging in front of me and being able to get rid of. But what about the thing that's standing behind me? What about my flank? Who's protecting my backside? Who's on my left? Who's to my right? Who can I trust? The more I fight, the more I get attacked. The more I seek out, the more that surrounds me. So yeah, no, there's a very modest way that we need to look at the entire spectrum of all of this, and knowing that just because you are aware does not mean that you are
Mm-mm.
the cure or that you
No.
have the ability to handle whatever comes your way.
Or that
You
you're
know?
not susceptible to things happening.
Yeah,
People come to me all the time. How can I get rid of this? And how can I make it just go away and not bother me no more? And I'm
right,
like, okay, I've been in this business for over 20 years now. And let me tell you one thing, if I've learned, is that this energy that we are dealing with is consistent. And it is going to take a mass consciousness of awakening and staying consistent in that belief that you're going to be okay, regardless of what external energies are out here affecting us, because we are constantly bombarded. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that you sit in your office and have these feelings, that you watch television and you have these feelings, because these are the things that you need to be aware of. And that is that this energy is constantly coming at you. It is coming from technology, it's coming from your radio, your television, your cell phones, whatever technology is in your house is coming from it, even your clocks.
so let me
And
ask you
it's,
this.
uh-huh.
I'm going to throw a wrench in your wheel. um, so what do we do about it? And we're acknowledging it. We see that there's a problem, and I can tell you that as soon as we end this broadcast, I'm going to probably fall right back into that pattern of doing my daily routine that I do on Sundays and watching the game, and so there's got to be a solution to it, and I know there is.
There is.
It's so what do
But
we do?
because part of the real life, first of all, whenever you are dealing with an addiction, let's just call it an addiction or a habit, the first step in assisting your ability to remove that is to acknowledge that there is actually a problem, right? First thing we have to acknowledge is that there's a problem here, that this
Yeah.
world is not all about rainbows and butterflies, that we are living someone else's reality, someone else's agenda, that you're told one thing in mainstream media, but then you feel, right, you feel that it's a little different. You don't feel that that mainstream media is reflecting your reality, how you really feel, and what you really want to take place on this planet, and your connection, whether it be through God, Mother, whatever your connection is, you're feeling this, and so you need to trust now. Now that you're aware there's a problem, you see it because you already feel different than what you're being told to feel. You're no longer complacent to accept that reality. You want to change it. So you have to change it within yourself to know, first of all, it all starts within you, because this is where the energy is infiltrating through your being. Whether you want to see it as a energetic thing, or whether you want to see it as a radio wave coming at you, much like the television, the radio, there are waves constantly coming at you and flowing on this planet. It is an energetic
Oh
war that
yeah,
we are in. It's
you
not
can
like
feel
you
it.
said. Yeah,
I,
you can
I have
feel it.
some days. I have some days where I'm like, oh, I can
Mhm.
breathe. I have some days
Yes.
I'm just like, yes, yes, and then I have other days where it's just like, and then the things I notice is on a mass level, people around me, I notice that everybody kind of feels agitated or blasé on the same day around the same time. So I know that there's something on a major scale happening,
Hmm.
that's energetic, and it's something that that's crazy going on. This weekend has been a crazy weekend. This has been not a very peaceful start to the 2016 year, and I think it was designed that way on purpose. Um, like this morning, I woke up to that news bulletin of the militia gaining in Oregon. This is
Yeah.
on Fox News. It's our headline on Fox News right now of what's happening. Now you got to ask yourself, what's happening here? Why are we seeing this on Fox News for one, and what is exactly happening? I got the news bulletin there shared on the screen at the moment. It is as long as it takes. They say armed protesters hunker down in federal building over ranching dispute. What the hell is going on? Now they say that originally that this came from um, a 2013 dispute between the rancher and the government. I'm not sure exactly of the details of what happened, but this has started an ignition switch to a militia to actually gather in Oregon, which is alarming. That's very, very alarming when you really come to think about what's happening over there, and why things are really starting to hit the fan. The third day of 2016. What the heck is
Second
going
day.
on?
Yeah,
So
because I know, but and again, you're feeling it. It's like the last few days of the first and the second, and here we are on the third, and I'm not smelling it anymore. I got to tell you right now. But the morning of the first until last night, I was smelling jet fuel, and I mean the burning kind of jet fuel. I could feel it in my nose. I could taste it at the top of my mouth, the roof of my mouth, the tongue, my lips. It was like jet fuel in my face, and for me, that's a sign that there's something about to happen. Some shit's gonna hit the fan, and then I wake up to you telling me about that, and that is an energy movement. Okay, people, it's an energy movement. There's all kinds of propaganda and things going on that are going to fuel your mind with what it is that's really happening there. But and again, it's all designed to keep us in a fear. It's all designed to keep you in a loop. If you're tired of repeating that loop and you're tired of being in that fear, the best way to do it again is to acknowledge there's an issue. Feel the issue. You guys are feeling it. I know you're feeling it. I got so many people coming to me all the time telling me that they're feeling it. What's up? What's going on? What's happening? What are they doing? And so we're feeling it. So the third step, that now that you understand, that's called discernment. When you are feeling the energy, you see it for what it is. You can discern the good guys from the bad guys, right? The good energy from the bad energy. And let me trust me, even though all this bad stuff is always going on, there's good stuff too. There's good people out there like us that are just trying to get people to be aware and wake up to what's really happening on this planet, so that
I
we don't
think
have to continue the loop.
I think that's the important part is when we bring up these negative topics and we bring up these negative things and these bad feelings that everybody has, to go back into that acknowledgement. Everybody has the same connection. Understand who you are as a person. Understand who you are on the inside. Understand who your soul is. Understand where your creation comes from. Understand your choices that you make on a daily basis have an impact of not only on who you are, but on the people around you. I think that's the ultimate part that we all need to remember is as self-consumed as each one of us are, it's time to break out of the shell that we've been putting ourselves in, because Reptilian shell. I'm going to use that as an example, and I know that's going to be iconic for you. We are
Mm.
in a reptilian shell, and it's time for us to crack out of that shell and actually become the living beings that we're supposed to be. We're not cold-blooded creatures. We're not supposed to be in a shell. So it's very important for all of us to acknowledge who we are as people and how powerful we really are as immortal beings, and understand how powerful the person next to you is. Understand that the person next to you has a major influence on your energy play. And if that person next to you has an influence on you, then what about the person next to them? How do they affect you? Because you know that the person next to them can affect them. Ultimately, it's a domino effect, And so when you
Mhm.
actually open up your consciousness to the fact that other people around you have the ability to co-create within your group and co-create alongside you, let's get rid of our ego for one, and let's not think that we're invincible to others, because that's not the case. If I was sitting next to you and I decided to punch you in the face, you're going to feel the pain, you're going to feel the impact, and the person next to you is going to feel fear from that. If someone decided to hit me in the face, it'd be the same thing. Cause and effect. It's not just a physical thing. It's created by thought and energy. There's an energy play here. It's a lot more powerful than what your eyes can see. Everything
Mhm.
is internal. Everything is in your mental status. Everything is in your spiritual being. Everything can be influenced, fluxed. It's so important for everybody to remember that and understand where you position yourself and how you can handle those things, and understanding what could come. And when you acknowledge a change in your emotion or acknowledge a change in your spiritual being, and you can see it coming, then you can start claiming some sort of invincibility. It's not invincibility, it's just a guard. It's, I see that coming, I can decide whether or not I want that to influence me. But the problem with focusing on your one attack is, going back to what I was saying earlier, I consider myself a spiritual warrior. That's not something that doesn't mean I'm constantly fighting, but it does mean that I'm aware of energies around me. But just because I'm focusing on the thing in front of me means that I'm also vulnerable from behind. I can't see what's coming from behind me unless I'm looking around all the time, and the
Ah, but
same
that's
thing.
where your abilities come in because you can
Yeah,
feel what's behind you.
I
And I
can't.
know a lot of people do. You do at
Yeah,
times feel what's behind you.
yeah. Well, that's just where it's time to step up and know who you are as individuals. Understand how you're affected by other people around you, not just people, but the energy play that we feel going on, galactically, um, celestially, with the government, with the TVs. This brings up a good point. How many of us watch Ghost Adventurers on Travel
Mhm.
Channel?
Right? I
I
raise my
have
hand.
to, we all watch it. Some of the stuff is Hollywood style. Some of it
Yes, it's all
is
scripted.
scripted.
Hmm.
But they also have moments that they don't expect to have. They have moments of, okay, shit, we're really in a haunted place. Something's happening here, and you can see the fear in their eyes. That's not acting.
Right.
That's them being infiltrated, and I can feel that it's real on certain episodes. Not all of them, but certain episodes where, you know what, I can feel it. I'm watching it on my TV. I'm feeling it through my television. So, people that are watching this that are susceptible to that energy play, even through TV and watching a TV show, you got to understand that if there's something that's dark entity wise, if there's a shadow figure through the television, and you're watching it and they feel your fear, they can latch on to you from your television, because why? Your thought is a portal, your mind is a portal. And when you start to feel and acknowledge the entity for what it is, it can lure itself to you. It can fill you, because
Hmm.
it's in that dimension where it can detect those thoughts and energy plays. So,
Right.
anyways, I started rambling. I'm sorry. Uh,
Well, no, that's what happens, because it's like that's how the energy flows, though. That's how the information goes. And when you have two or more talking, that's how the energy is shared. And it just starts moving you. And really, if you think about it, the more of us that, get in those groups and start talking, you really see how that energy flows. Because again, you're feeling it. You just let it go. You allow. That's the next step. After you acknowledge it, you use that, discernment to, feel whether it's, right or wrong for you. And if it's wrong for you, then not that you're in an egg, but you do have that energy of protection around you. And the more you're aware that that's not your thought, that's not your energy, that's not what you're going to own for your world, you actually remove the programming, you remove the brainwashing, you remove the complacency. And then you start seeing, that your energy is actually amping up. You can feel the surges of energy running through your body as you start to move into that knowing. I call it stepping into your knowing. And because you're stepping into that knowing now, you're feeling it. And you have to incorporate that body into this energetic warfare that's going on, because you are a physical body. Like Bryan's saying, if you feel the punch physically, you're going to feel it energetically. So we have to remember to incorporate those things and not allow that fear to settle anywhere in our body, just to see exactly who you are and keep yourself in that knowing that that's not going to penetrate you. And as soon as you even have those little thoughts, as soon as you even have that little gut feeling that something is not right around you, then you put that shield up around you, because you do have that as your God-given energy shield of protection. You do have those that are also here to help us as well. We're not alone. And I don't mean alien. I mean your soul family that you incorporate into your experiences, that you incarnate with, such as me and Bryan. Bryan has been my son. I can't tell you how many times. And it's because, that we understand our role in each other's world. And it's a respect that goes beyond. Once you can see that role, then you no longer put the expectations of what's going to be happening, and you start to allow each person to fulfill their
Yep.
individuality and their
To
own true
clarify,
nature self.
I don't mean to correct you, and it's not a correction, it's a clarification.
Uh-huh.
She's referring to past lives. So not only have I been her son in this life, but in past lives, in many lifetimes before, we've had that mother-son relationship, that mother-son role. So, for those of you that are watching, just want to clarify that.
Well, there you have it. And again, I believe that I am, and a lot of us, many, 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 that are here are just older than dirt. We've been here this before. We know that's why we feel. That's why we understand the difference between what feels good and what feels bad. And we know it. We're not here to learn what that feeling is. We know by the age of 5, really, when we've hurt somebody and how we feel we've been hurt. And so we know from right, wrong, right there. But we just get caught up and distracted by the world around us because of other people's realities, other people's agendas, other people's intentions, so other people's energies. And so, we have to be able to incorporate that into every day and understand it. 24/7, we're in this energy. It doesn't turn off like a TV. And by the way, your TV doesn't turn off. You can actually unplug your TV and it still will register being on. Why is that? It's because of the workings inside of that TV. It's like a computer. Did you know that even when your computer isn't on, it's sitting there dormant, it is being used by other computers around it saying, oh, you're not doing nothing. Come here. And it gets it to work. And the same thing's going on. Technology, energetically, we need to realize what's happening. And our role in it now today, in 2016, isn't to sit here and be offended by what's going on. It's not your fault. You didn't cause it. You didn't create it. Well, maybe you did in another past lifetime because you may be old and had been here before. And now you're trying to make amends. Come back and do it right. Again, mistakes get made. We're all in that realm of mistakes being made. But we are also in that knowing that once a mistake has been made, if you make it again, it no longer becomes a mistake. It becomes a choice. So we need to be in that kind of awareness, that you may have these thoughts. But like Bryan said earlier, cause and effect. You don't have to go off and act on those thoughts. You cannot own those thoughts. That's not yours. That's not how you want to be. Not going to own it. We have to be responsible for ourselves in that way. If you're in a bad mood, whatever, change it because it goes against your true nature self. Now, that's not to say that you can't express emotion, but you just don't buy into it to where that's what you're living now, because that's what we do. When it comes to grieving, mourning, breakup, anything and everything we do, we hold on to it. So you really learn how to balance yourself out in that thought. I go through it too. Again, I have been living this world, seeing this stuff going on for 52 years now. I'm 52 years old, so I've seen it from my little childhood, and so I've been seeing it and going, and I'm still susceptible because it's not my reality; it's other people's reality doing it. I'm still susceptible, so we got to get ourselves out of that mindset that we have to buy into the stuff that's going on, and and it goes for everything. Regular people, people who are empathic, psychic, we're all susceptible, and we
Yeah.
have to know what we're dealing with.
Yeah. And it's ever so changing. It's as you evolve and change, it will your opposition will as well. Your opposition is very aware of what you are doing and what you're capable of, what your surface thoughts are. And once you start to learn what your opposition is and how they work, they're not one step ahead of you. It may feel like that if you pause yourself and you stop for a second, but it's always one step behind you because it feeds off of you. The energy play that we're going against, the thing that we need to remember is that we are the creator of it in a sense, because as you walk forward and as you move forward and as you have decisions and thoughts and as you do different things, it's working behind you to cover up those footprints to gain the energy from it. And
But
that's one thing
I
that.
got to interject real quick, because
Go
I got
ahead.
to say there's something going on also that a lot of people aren't aware of. There's a lot of tests that have been going on how your brain works, and they can now determine that 10 seconds, we have a 10-second window, people, 10 seconds before you actually do something or think something or say something, there is a part of your brain in your sub, can't remember what they called it now, but there's a part of your brain that knows you're going to do it 10 seconds before you do it. Okay? 10 seconds. So in that 10-second window before you do something, that's the energy they're reading. So they know 10 seconds before you know. That's why even 10 seconds, within 10 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second having that thought, you change it and it changes the game on them because they think they know what you're going to do, because they don't know that you're aware that there's somebody in there messing with that 10-second delay.
Yeah.
Now that you're aware there's someone in there messing with that 10-second delay, you got 1-2 seconds as soon as that thought comes in to change it, not have it.
But that's going to be the fun part here. Is
Yeah.
2016 is going to start something new. Now, for the last, well, gosh, my whole life, the theme has been we need to wake everybody up.
Hmm.
People need to wake up. The consciousness needs to wake up. The mass consciousness needs to wake up. Okay, now you know what? The majority of people on this planet are awake. They are awake. Now here comes the challenge that I didn't see coming. The challenge of maintaining the status of being awake. I didn't even think about it. It's not that I
No.
forgot. It just wasn't even a thought. What does that mean? The status of maintaining, or the awake status, it is now that you're awake, now you have decisions to make. Now that you're awake, now it's time to utilize your energy. Now that you are awake, you have the ability to control, your immediate surrounding, your immediate body, your immediate sense of everything. Meaning.
Ooh,
So, exactly.
don't beat up the blind.
Prevented this, but no. That's the important part that we need to remember. Now it's time to maintain awake status, maintain a purity state of mind, understand where you are positioned in the energy play. Who are you? Where do you stand? How do you affect others? How do you affect yourself? How do others affect you? These are things you need to start asking yourself. Do you want to utilize your being as a tool to help maintain the awake status? Do you want to become a healer? Do you want to become somebody that can help connect to multiple dimensions? Do you want to be somebody that helps, bring in the creator, bring in God, and bring in, that level of understanding and that connectivity? Let's not forget that there's a higher power involved here on multiple levels, but there's a higher power. There's an ultimate center source that we need to involve and keep. And now that we're awake, we need to start becoming united again, and we need to filter out what's bad. We need to understand what is bad, what that means, what it means for us. Is it worth keeping? Is it keeping us balanced? There's so many different variables, and it's crazy because it's hard for me to even acknowledge half the information that I'm receiving. because it's crazy. It's distorted. There's distortion that I'm feeling, and I'm trying to sort through it and understand it. And that's where coming back into the moment, time for everybody to, okay, regroup. Let's get closer. Let's regroup. Let's all come together as a group and as a people and as a unionship, and let's have that that commonality between all of us to where we can start manifesting what it is that we need to manifest, not so much on a conscious level, but on a higher power level. Let's open up that ability, so this way we can have a planetary shift with each other. Let's bring in that
Hmm.
unionship.
Definitely. And I think signs are all around us all the time. That's the synchronicity that spirit gives us. The signs are a changing, and it's always around us though. But it's always, always telling us to, try and be your true natured, authentic self, and to not, give in. It says, to be in this world, but not of it, because you need to be on the same, level of understanding of not just who you are, but your role in the whole bigger picture, like Bryan's saying, the bigger picture of what's going on. And don't be just so focused on what it is that, you think you want in this world. Because again, that's even distorted. Why are people moved to do that? See the programming, don't be complacent, and move forward in a knowing that, you do have the ability to have that faith and that knowing and that knowledge and that foundation of, that you are a very strong etheric being. You're not just about the flesh that you are today. I heard it just the other night on New Year's Eve. I was with a couple who actually said, let's do it right this time. Let's get this year right, because this is going to be, our only time we're here. This is it. You only get one lifetime. And it's like people are stuck in that belief, that that's it, that this is it. And that is actually kind of depressing. It starts all kinds of oppression because it goes against your true nature self. So, be very careful of what you allow in your belief system, because your belief system is a system all in of itself, and it can just take you down a path because of that belief. So we're asking you just to, have that faith and trust, that you are an energetic being and that you are part of something bigger than yourself. And then when we all come together in that, that's when things start to, really move and change, and, go towards what it is that we want to not what we want, but rather what we need to be doing, and that's balancing out so that we don't carry this on another lifetime, and we don't allow this war mentality to continue, so that our children can live in a better peaceful world. And children's children, we got to think
Yeah.
about that. They say in a Native American, we're to think that we're responsible for those actions to go down 7 generations. So the next 7 generations coming are paying attention. They're going to be really watching what we did, and how we're fixing it, how we're moving forward. Hopefully they start changing things. Hopefully we do. Hopefully that's why we're here right now, so we can change things.
Well, I think that is the point. We've got a mass awakening happening at our footsteps, and we're a part of it, and we're waking up to things that we never thought we were asleep to. We're finding out things and information on a daily basis. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
One of the things that continues to come to me in these kind of moments, that when we have these conversations, is solutions. I'm a solution guy. I'm a fixer. Okay, I'm a fixer by nature.
Right.
So I don't like to just talk about things. I like to have solutions. If someone presents an obstacle or an issue to me, the first thing I think of is, how do we fix it? And that's a blessing and a curse altogether, because not everything can be
Do
fixed.
that.
But when we have this topic, that one of the things that comes to mind is it's time that people start setting up groups. I'm gonna use a weird metaphor, but it's coming to me as I talk. So AA, there's a solution to get rid of alcoholics. Not get rid of alcoholics, but to stop alcoholism, and AA is a part of that. So there's groups all over the United States, where they get together to help each other. People that are experienced, people that are seeing this, and I think that's something that we all need to set up. Starting in the United States, starting all over the world. It's already happening. It's not an original idea that I have. But it's time for people to start gathering physically. and having groups and having group meditations and group discussions, and it's time for everybody to start coming up with some kind of commonality again, and understanding the mistakes that have been made in the past, what future repetitive issues may present themselves, and how do we fix that in the moment. And that's where people get lost. Is the past is important, the future is important, the moment is the solution.
Imperative.
So
Yeah.
you have your history to learn from, you have your future to plan the fix, and then you have your moment to fix it. And it's important to balance all three of those spectrums out. And I think that's where we're coming into a time now where it's very important. And I'm hoping that Common Chat takes off. I'm hoping that this can be a platform for that. I'm hoping that people can start coming to this platform to have a voice, to be a part of a group that is willing to talk about consciousness awakenings, and not to bring corrections into people's lives, but solutions.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest difference, is stripping yourself from what you know and becoming raw and becoming a student again. And not just for the people talking, but for the people that are a part of the group. It's important for us to all just kind of strip down and be raw in the moment and understand the other people's perspectives, and trying to
Mm.
understand what they see and what their problems are, have them understand what you see and what your problems are, and collectively fix it,
Yeah,
because
start changing terminology too, because I don't want to think of everybody as a teacher and a
yeah,
student, because that just keeps you in the school of thought that this is a learning school ground, and that
and
we
we're
have
not.
to, and it's so
No.
not. We need to get out of that terminology, and then
So
we need to see
here's,
our part in the whole
I'm
as
glad you
the
brought that up,
group.
because when you first told me this, that forced me to change the way that I thought, because that's you have to admit, in the beginning of this lifetime, we have thought that. We have thought, oh my gosh, okay, life is a lesson. Life is an experience. Life is a library, a celestial place where we come and learn and live till we learn to love, blah, 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 blah. Let me give you a prime example of how that cannot be true. Because when you are a child and you're new to this planet, in this life form, you have knowledge and insights that you lose the older you get. So essentially, if we're going to use the student teacher status, when you have a toddler walking around talking about a past life experience, you now have a teacher in the form of a 2-year-old toddler.
Yeah.
You are now the student to sit there and remember and understand what your toddler may be telling you, because believe me, it's not nonsense. They're coming in from a spiritual realm that we're getting ready to re-enter when we leave this life form. They're coming in from a knowledge base, a pure, innocent energy. I mean, think about that. So and people know that. I mean, the Yavapai reservation. That was one of the things that they taught us, is listen to your children. Understand that when a child hands you a gift, that you need to accept it. Don't ever turn down a gift from a child, because they have knowledge and an understanding that is beyond what we have a knowledge and understanding of, because we lost it somewhere in the growing up part. So strip yourselves from the student teacher uh,
Mentality.
mentality and get rid of that verbiage, because we are not students anymore. We are here to fix an energy play. We are here to fix an energy movement. We're here to be a part of an energy movement. That teacher student status needs to go away, because that also provides you with an ego. Your ego can dismantle and alter your objective. If you feel like you are better than the person next to you, or more knowledgeable than the person next to you, you are sorely mistaken. I am not more knowledgeable or more powerful as a spiritual warrior than the person next to me. I am simply just me. And that's how I have to be, and there's an independence in it, but there has to be unionship. You have to own yourself, but you also need to participate. But you are not better than the person next to you. And I think that's the
Not at all.
biggest flaw that we have as humans. Thinking that I'm more powerful than the person next to me. No, no. The person next to me has just as much power to have cause and effect on my life as I do on theirs. There's a balance there. And it's time to let go of that ego, time to let go of that student teacher mentality and go back to brother sister mentality.
Right.
We all have an equal base. We all have the same creating source. And even if we don't, we still have a creating source. So, you know, I don't care who you are, you're my brother, you're my
Yeah,
sister. And,
exactly.
if I have something that I can gain from you, great. If I have something that I can give to you, great. You know, but it's not about who has more or less.
No, and that's the haves and the haves not. That the whole keeping up with the Joneses, that all
Yeah.
keeps you in that mentality of self.
Yeah.
And you don't see yourself as a anything like we're all the pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
We're all, and we have to come together to complete the puzzle. Not you got a puzzle and you're missing a few pieces. It's incomplete. So we have
I,
to see ourselves as the whole and
I
what
think that's
our part
important too.
is.
Is one of the things that I always get stuck with is money. I'm thinking, gosh, if I had more money, I could do this. I could do this, or I could do that. I'm not necessarily looking for happiness through money, but maybe ultimately that's what it is.
Hmm.
And maybe I'm not being honest with myself when I say that, but at the same time, there's been a couple of celebrities that have come forward, and I'm going to throw them out there. Let's throw Jim Carrey out there. Also Keanu Reeves, and Robin Williams. These three celebrities have brought us entertainment in life. They have access to anything that they want beyond your knowledge. They don't just have money, but they have the choice to go wherever the hell they want to. They have the choice to be with whoever they want to. They have the choice to live whatever life they want to. And those three celebrities, especially, have come forward and have said, I wish that you could have all the money that I have. So this way you can see that it is not the answer to success or happiness. And that's important to remember. What is it that you're seeking for your happiness? Because the secret lies within your heart. It doesn't lie within a materialistic object. It does not lie within currency that has been developed and maintained on this planet. It lies within energy. It lies within self acknowledgement. What is the definition of success? Is success defined by how much money you make and how productive you are at work, or is success defined by the smile on your face and the feeling that you have when you wake up in the morning? When I think of success and how I want to be successful, I want to know that I'm waking up every morning in a place that I want to be in. I want to know that I'm happy and good with where I'm at. And I can tell you right now that I could get a $150,000 yearly raise right now, and my happiness level would not be altered. I might be happy in the moment, yay, $150,000 raise, I can go to get this and this and this. But ultimately, my happiness is not going to be affected in the long run, especially. My success comes down to, am I doing what I want to do as Bryan? Am I doing everything I can for my wife? Am I living the life that I want to live? These are my definitions of success, and they are for everyone else too. The materialistic things that we've all become accustomed to are temporary, but your happiness and your energy level is permanent. The energy that you create has an immortality to it. It can be altered, but it's always ever so present. So how are
Hmm.
we going to alter it, and how are we going to change it, and how are we going to make it to where it's beneficial to us? So find that happy
Right.
place, and find that spot in your life where you feel like you can bring happiness to you in that moment, and understand that it's not going to come in the form of dollars. It's not going to come in the form of material. It's not going to be anything that could be man-made. It's going to be internal,
Right.
and internal is an energy. So,
Hmm.
that's
That's true, and that's why I resolve every day to be the best I can, to stay in my faith that I am taken care of regardless of what happens around me. I don't have need or want. All my need and wants are taken care of before I have need or want of them. And that's a frame of mind, a state of being, and something that we all need to live in order for us to really see the beautiful place that we're in, to see past and get past all the negative things that are happening on this planet. Before, and not be, I don't want to say before it's too late, because again, how many times have we been here with the same message, saying the same thing over and over and over again? I feel like I'm repetitive, very much so. But that's only because it needs to be repeated over and over and over again, because we need to see who we are, and just resolve every day to be the best you that you can be, just better than you were yesterday. That's the only goal anyone should have, is to be better than they were yesterday. Because that's going to be the thing that's going to motivate you and keep you pushing, and allowing you to change your perspective, and change with the times, because that's what we have to do. Times are a changing, and they will consistently change, but they will very much stay the same for you, if you do not go with the change. That's why I say, last year we went into 2015 like I felt like I was just going to be riding the wave. I had no idea that the wave meant that I was riding this emotional roller coaster that was happening all year long. And so I saw this post that's perfect for this year, because it said 2015 was the year that everyone was offended by everything. So let's make 2016 the year everyone grows up. And I say the year everyone graduates also. Let's go ahead and graduate from that school of thought and take yourself out of that student aspect and
Hey,
that teacher aspect.
was that post? Did you see that post on my Facebook page?
It might have been. It stuck out in my mind though, and I shared it. I shared it over on Facebook because I want everyone else to see it. Ever 2015. Really think about it. Everyone was offended by everything. I mean, friendships broke up because someone got offended by someone's action, and someone got offended by someone's words, and someone gets
Well,
offended. You know what I'm saying? It's too
and
much.
not just on a personal level, but on a political level.
Yeah,
And on a conspiracy level. I mean, everybody's so sensitive right now. But
yeah.
that's
That's
okay.
the energy play.
But that not only is that the energy play, but that's also what happens when everybody freshly wakens up. And let me tell
Yeah,
you, when you wake up in the
yeah.
morning, how do you feel? When you wake up in the morning, fresh right out of bed, some people feel grumpy. Some people feel like me. I force myself to wake up in the morning. I'm not. Connie thinks I'm a morning person. I'm far from it. I just have no choice in the matter. I need to get up in the morning and get ready to go to work. So what do? I try to force myself to be happy. So, unfortunately, I grew up in a household where I had somebody in the morning whistling very loudly every
It was.
freaking
It
morning.
wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Blowing his nose so everybody could hear it. Clapping his hands. They're all doing all kinds of crazy shit.
To wake you
Uh,
up.
but guess what? Because we become our parents, I do the same thing in the morning. But it's not because I'm waking up happy. It's because I'm waking up and I'm forcing myself to,
Yeah.
let's
Get
just wake
up.
up. Let's get rid of it. I had some crazy dreams the night before. Let's move forward. That's where I'm at.
Right.
But going back to everybody being so sensitive, in 2015 was the year that the mass consciousness awoke, and everybody was sensitive because they felt sensitive. I mean, it's
Mhm.
put it to you, when you first wake up on an energetic level, you're being exposed to a raw emotion, a raw sensitivity. That's hard, and that's not easy. So that's where the people that have already been awake need to come in and be like, shh,
Mhm.
calm yourself,
Calm down.
relax, because it's only going to get more fun. You know, your world has changed. You
For
just woke
sure.
up into a world where you need to be the
Whew.
healer, the energy player, the warrior. You need to be everything. You need to be the whole thing. So relax,
Yeah.
because we
One
got some
moment at a
work to do.
time. Yeah, don't worry about what you're going to do tomorrow. Let's think how you're feeling right now in this moment, right here today.
Yep.
Even if you're listening to this later, how you feeling? Right now, in this moment. Are you smiling? Are you happy? Can you change things? So you just stay in that mindset that you can change your thoughts,
Yep.
and you don't have to be in the oppression. You can come out of it.
Can
Find a reason to smile.
can I close this broadcast out?
Yes,
Can I have the ending statement?
you go right ahead.
I'm going to, let everybody know that thank you for watching this later, because I think we had one or two viewers for a little bit today. Hopefully this grows. Hopefully this platform, you realize it's not about Solana. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about you having a voice. It's about you being able to bring yourself to a platform to where you can actually contribute to a group. This is a group session. This is not a Bryan Fox and Solana session. We may be the host to this group, but it does not mean we can't have you be a part of it. We want you guys to come be a part of this, contribute to the conversation, leave your comments. It's important for us to spread this program around. Let's all come together. Let's all have a moment of unionship and commonality. That's the ultimate goal here, right? So it's very important. I want all of you guys to go to youtube.com, look for Solana0156, subscribe to the YouTube channel, watch some of the videos there, like them, leave comments, bring the activity up. Let's acknowledge what we're trying to do here. This is not about me or Solana. This is about you. This is a platform for you to have a voice. We are trying to create a place for you to be able to come and join this group and be everything that we're supposed to be. Also, check out my YouTube channel, Bryan Fox. I got some goofy videos over there if you want to just have a quick little laugh. I will always post random videos just to get your mind off things and to remind myself to live in the moment.
I
So if
love
you
those
want to go over
videos.
there, subscribe yourself to them. Remember that we will be broadcasting on YouTube, Google Hangouts. It's all the same thing. Every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Please, come join us next week.
Join, chat. All right, we're going to close it out then. We appreciate you guys for coming. Like Bryan said, subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know your thoughts and what you want to do for 2016. And, just have a great one and, resolve again to be the best you every day. And that's all you have to do. And so allow. We're going to say goodbye. Say goodbye, Bryan. And we'll see
See you guys
y'all.
later.
We'll see y'all next Sunday.